Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, creepy friends. Welcome to Nixie Bobs and welcome to take two. Take two because not this one, but my memory card screwed up. So Friday was Beauty and the Beast release day. I went to see it. I'm going to do a quick little talk on it afterwards. And I sat down over the weekend and thought, right, let's edit this makeup video down. I had done a whole makeup video inspired on Beauty and the Beast. Thought, let's sit down, let's do this. And it had not saved correctly on the memory card. It was corrupt, as were several other files that I had recorded that week. So that's why we've had no video since last week, because I'd planned everything, I'd done everything, and it didn't record. So because that memory card's kind of corrupted and it's always been known to be fussy, I had to sit there and go through my entire bag of memory cards and chips, which are here, and try to find one that didn't have anything on it. And thankfully I've come across two, the one you just saw and the one that's in there. The good thing is though that I get to do this makeup video again. The better thing is that when I went into it the first time, I didn't know 100% what I was doing. I kind of just ad-libbed it all, as I always do. This gives me more space to kind of like start again and know 100% what I'm going to do going into it, as opposed to going in blind. So it's going to be easier to do, quicker to do, and more explanatory as well. I thought about doing this makeup video for about a week before I actually decided I was actually going to do it. So the only two things I've actually bought to put towards this makeup video is an eyeliner and a shadow. Both of these are Kiko products, Kiko Milano I believe it is. They're not particularly expensive. I think they border on being premium / high street. They're completely in the middleman of it all. This eyeshadow was £6.90. This was actually reduced, and I think it was marked up as being £5.90, which I thought was fine for an eyeliner. When I got to the till, they only charged me about £2 for it. So I was a happy girl. But they were literally the only things I've bought to put towards this. Everything else I own. But then who really owns canary yellow eyeshadow? Honestly, not me. But this was literally the most perfect colour going. I tried it, swatched it on my hand, was like, I could not get a better colour if I tried. I did look at some of the other like drugstore brands, didn't find anything. So to start with, all I have done is applied a little lid primer from Urban Decay's Primer Potion. You can use anything. Concealer normally works, a matte concealer. That's probably one I shouldn't tell you, but I use that sometimes. So realistically, for this makeup look, we only need a few things. Literally, we need a palette. Now, you don't necessarily need this one. You could use any one as long as you've got the three kind of coloured shades in there that I'm going to use. A black eyeliner, the blue eyeliner, because this is like Beast's colour, a yellow shadow, and that's really all you need for the eye look. It's very, very simple. You guys know what I'm like. I'm unfussy. I want it completely attainable for the natural audience and not completely unrealistically undoable. Tarte's Tartlet in Bloom is the perfect one for this because it contains the three shades that I need the most. So we've got the pale shades, the neutrals, but then we've got glitter shades at first. Now at first with the glitter shades, I was going to use Firecracker, but I actually ended up using Funny Girl, which is the softer one. So that's what I'll explain to you. And we'll start now, because I'm here, you're here, there's no point in jabbering on. So brushes from the box. If you've not been here a while, if you've not been here before and you're just looking at it because you saw Beauty and the Beast makeup, Nixie doesn't know anything. Nixie has all these brushes and all these numbers on these brushes and doesn't know what they mean. But that's fine, because we have fun. So I'm just going to pick any brush that I want, and I'm actually going to start with the Spectrum brush that came in our Birchbox from a couple of months ago. So I'm going to start with the shade Flower Child, which is a very neutral shade, and I'm going to base my whole eye in that, or sort of the eyelid anyway, just to give a basic colouring. I bet you thought I was going to do canary yellow all over, didn't you? Ha, wrong. Oh, there's another thing we need. I forgot. You also need a navy blue eyeshadow too. So you don't need the Tartlet in Bloom as long as you've got two neutrals, a shimmer. That's all you need. You could have that in any palette. I've got so many different versions across all my palettes, but this was the one when I looked at it when I was doing it I thought was going to be the best one. So it's just a basic shade, and now we've done the basics, I'm actually going to zoom in, because if you guys saw one of my last posts, we don't do any of this. So I will zoom in, I will show you exactly what I'm doing, and then I will show you the finished look with a zoom and an explanation, as opposed to doing silly posing because I don't like it. Taking the yellow, the shade that we have, and then taking a fluffy blending brush. Mine is my Morphe one that I can't find. I'm going to use that. This has a fluffy tip. You can use probably any kind of fluffy brush you want or anything you have your hands on. If you have the two twin Eco Tools brushes that I go on about quite a lot, one end of that can help. I'm not going to take a lot on the brush because we're actually going to keep returning with the yellow later on to fully get it in there. I'm going to come up on this crease and follow the yellow into the crease only. But I'm going to keep reapplying this to get the desired look because I don't want Larry yellow. I don't think Belle's yellow is yet Larry, do you? I think it just suits the character perfectly. So I'll show you the motions I use. I'll take a bit on the brush, never get too much on your brush, and then I sweep, and then I do small circular motions going back round and into the corner of the eye, and then I come back, sweep again, and it's a constant repetition of that whole pattern over and over again, just sped up so that it disperses the colour without sticking anywhere. So that's going to be my first layer of yellow on there. What I'm going to do now is use the second neutral shade I'm going to use, which is Sweetheart, purely to get a natural look of the eye on the lid and really to highlight the yellow. If I go dark, it's going to look like a bumblebee, which isn't what I want. So I'm going to put Sweetheart on one side of that brush, not the other. And I'm going to pat that over the lid, but not onto the yellow. It's just going to marry well together with Flower Child, but not be distinctly pink, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? I'm kind of making it up as I go along, can you tell? So I'm going to come back with a little bit more yellow. The thing with this look is that I just keep going back to the yellow just to make sure I've got a lovely colouring, and it really does look lovely at the end. I mean, I kept looking at this the other day and thinking it just makes my eyes look really bright, and it's not overbearing either. I think you think yellow and like neon shades and you're thinking, oh my god, hideous 80s, but you can make it work in a more simplistic manner for something like this. So the next shade I'm going to use is Charmer, which is the white shade, and I'm going to swap brushes and use something a little bit more concentrated, and I'm going to use a different one than the one I used the first time. This is a small Morphe, more pencil tip brush, and I'm going to take the white into there, and I'm going to use it in the very corner there. Can you see that? And I'm going to stroke it up so that it meets the yellow, any yellow that's graduated around, because I was stopping the yellow about the midpoint of the eye. And I'm also going to use it just to brighten up my inner corner, but I will go back to this later with a little sparkle. So as of now, I'm done for powders just for now, because what I'm going to do is line the eye with these two guys. The plan for this is to actually merge blue and black together. Because the blue is quite as deep as it is, it doesn't show up as much as I would like, but you know it's there and you know the purpose of it. So I'm using, you can use any pencil liner. I prefer pencil with this because obviously this is a pencil, so it definitely makes it marry together better. But you could use liquid, it's just not something I use loads of. So if you see there, that's how it's going to look in the end. They're just tie-dyed, merged, blended together well into a way that just looks, I liked it, put it that way. It's a gentle hint without being, again, OTT. So I'm going to start with black. And the black, I'm going to start, because I have my own way of doing eyeliner, and you guys may know this by now. I don't follow the way it should go. I make things up, and I also can't start outwards in. I have to start inwards out because I just can't do it. So I'm going to start on the inner corner, and I'll give you one tip with the way I do my liner, and it's something completely involuntary. I tend to hold and pull my face out, just really, I think, as a guide. And I'm going to take the black up. You could go heavier with this, I just choose not to. And I'm going to stop about there. That's as far as I'm going to come with the black. And we're going to trade and come to the blue. This doesn't have a name, this blue. All it is matte crayon U, and it's called 704 from Kiko. and I'm going to bring the blue down and come out. Now again, I don't want a ginormous flick. If you want something thicker and heavier, you go ahead and do that. And done. That's as heavy as I'm going to go. I don't want OTT my flick, and that is just my aesthetic not to do that. So what am I going to do now? Well, we've got a couple more things to do. I'm going to add a little hint more yellow with the blender brush, because again, I'm trying to make sure the yellow shows but isn't overpowering. I definitely think this is very springy as well, this look. What I'm also going to do now is pat this more onto the base of the lid here, this corner, and again graduate it up. I tend to keep it in the crevice and just slightly up, but not too high to the brow, because then we will look a bit 80s. So the next thing I'm going to do is come back to the Tartelette and Bloom, and we're going to go to the shade Funny Girl, which is a shimmer shade, and it's this one in the corner right here. And I'm going to use a small eyeliner brush for this. This was actually, I think it was a Beauty Bay purchase when I was trying to make £15 to get free delivery, believe it or not. So its tip is teeny, tiny and fine. Now I'm not going to use the powder dry. I'm going to turn it into a liner, and I've got a little cup of water right here. So I'm going to put the water on the tip, come into Funny Girl, and I'm trying to do this without looking, which is kind of hard, so I'm going to have to sit here, and I'm going to dab the water into it, pat it on, and now we've got enough colour on here. So what we're going to do is take the gold shimmer all the way over the line that we've drawn. Because I did originally try doing, have you seen when you see people that know what they're doing and they put the shimmer into the crevice there? Yeah, I couldn't do that. So we're not even going to try. I did try doing it and it just looked odd. So I came up with doing it this way instead. So the good thing about doing the glitter line is you can go as heavy or as fine as you want. It just ends up looking really, really pretty. And it's obviously reminiscent of the sparkle on Belle's dress, or on the live action version. So you now see how that all marries together really nicely. It's not OTT, it's not overpowering, and you can still see every element of my eye without it being too big and bold. Everything there is connected to Beauty and the Beast, but we're not 100% done. Coming in with the navy blue shade that you've got, obviously this is symbolic of Beast's blue outfit that he wears, as is the blue liner. This is actually a Bare Minerals loose powder shade in the shade, I think it's Nightshade. It's pretty dark, but I'm only going to use delicate bits of this. I also think this is a bit metallic, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it is tiny little bit metallic. And I'm actually going to use this just under the eye. I don't want a heavy smoky eye. I'm going to take the colour that I have there on one side only of this brush. You obviously can't see it because it's dark. And I'm going to come here, just gently stroke that under the lash line to about the midpoint of the eye. So can we see how we're getting that darkness in there?
Middle.
A little bit more than I wanted, but it actually blends well into the liner, so I don't mind that too much. I'm going to take my pencil tip brush that we used earlier for the white. I thought it was raining for a minute, and I'm just going to smudge that out a little bit, just so that it's a little bit softer and not as heavy. Next thing we do, now that we've done that, is come back to our liner brush and the Tartelette in Bloom, and I'm going to line the bottom part with the glitter again. I'm going to start there and line along so they meet. And then I'm going to dab glitter right here so that we've got brightness on the inner corner. See that?
Pat that down so that it doesn't look like a blob.
That is this eye look done. I'm going to finish this eye and then show you how it looks together. But we are going to go at super speed. That is now 100% done. So I'll come in and show you everything. I've slightly gone a little bit too far on the blue here, so I apologise for that. So we started off with a primed eye, and we went over that in a basic shade of Flower Child from Tarte Lit and Bloom. It's a kind of beigey shade, neutral to the eye. Next thing we did was began with the yellow. This was shade 19 from Kiko in, I think, a highly pigmented colour. It's a canary yellow basically. And I came over, swished into the crease and slightly up onto the brow bone with that. Not overly so, but it's a step that I repeat and repeat again to get the depth of the yellow without applying it too heavy. Next thing I did was come in with Sweetheart, which is a light muted pink tone, just to add a little bit of colour to the lid, because obviously I didn't want to do too highly a coloured lid. Then came back in with the yellow 19 and came just slightly on the lid on the inside here, not too far, and carried on just deepening the colour into the eye to get the canary yellow shade. Liner was black to about the midpoint of the eye and then blended out with a navy blue, reminiscent of Beast's blue costume, the yellow obviously, and the gold liner we're about to discuss being reminiscent of Belle's dress from the ball scene. And the gold liner was actually a shadow wet down, which was Funny Girl, again from the Tarte Lit and Bloom. This was then also graduated down into the inner corner for a bit more shimmer, and added onto the under eye along with a navy blue shade called Nightingale from Bare Minerals, just to give a slightly exaggerated look but without being too much. Also we used Charmer on the insides, on the inner corner as well of the white, just to blend it into the yellow, but also again give a brightness to the outer corner without being overly exaggerated. This was really easy. It took about 10 minutes an eye and is not going to be an over exaggerated look. I went to the cinema like this because I'm crazy. Again, you could always add more yellow to the eye if you wanted. I don't know how well this yellow shows up in the lighting that I have, but it is actually really, really beautiful. So to kind of show you, you could add more yellow if you wanted. I'm going to come in with much heavier amounts on the brush, tap it out slightly, and just exaggerate that further. So as you can see, it's easily buildable and just doable to your own liking. I've found recently, and I don't know why, I just prefer it, or I'm preferring my makeup to be slightly paler and not as defined or dark. I don't know if I just like keeping darks now for gigs and stuff like that. So as you can see, exaggerating the yellow further is so easy. It just means you add a little bit more yellow pigment to it. I still don't feel overdone with that, and I definitely feel that I'm, you know, honouring Beauty and the Beast with this eyeshadow in my own way, because as you guys know, I don't like OTTing things. I'm going to go ahead and do my complexion and show you what the finished look actually did look like. There you go. Now this took like 10 minutes, very, very quick. It gave me the ability as well to just even out any kind of corners I had glaring there, and sort out anything going on under the eyes as well. Also managed to cover up obviously any evil things. I only used a small flush of pink on the cheeks with the light blusher. Didn't feel like it warranted having loads of highlight or shimmer, and that was all I did. A basic small foundation, a primer, nothing major. To finish, we're actually going to finish with a lovely red lip. Reason for this, the rose is red. I only have a pink rose to my left, so I can't actually do this, and this is my right. I can't even tell which hand I'm using anymore. So this is actually a Bare Minerals Moxie lip shade. It comes in a 3-set from QVC, and this is Rain On. It is a lovely red. You could use any type of lip. You could do a pink lip if you wanted. I just thought this finished everything. A lighter red you could do if you wanted is Revved Up Red in the Big Sexy Lip Tin, a Benefit one. Very basic. You could use a pale red. You can even pale this out. I'm going to slightly actually. So if I apply lipstick, literally I apply it to the middle. And I stop there. The reason I stop there is because I then blend it in with a lip brush. This will actually make the lip colour last longer. So the fact that it all looks a little bit strange and incomplete at the minute is something I always do. And my lip brush is right here, and it was last used with red. I'm going to give it a quick clean because I'm not completely disgusting. And then I'm going to literally take the colour up into the corner of her lip. It was that easy. Literally so easy, very basic, and so doable for all of you guys as well. Hope you enjoyed me doing this. Hopefully as well I've kind of tried to change the way I do things and less posiness. So tell me if you enjoyed that, tell me if you like this, tell me if there's anything else you'd like to see me do. Please don't ask me to buy anything too expensive. I do not have unlimited money. I am not a wealthy girl. It was that easy. Literally so easy, very basic, and so doable for all of you guys as well. Hope you enjoyed me doing this. Hopefully as well I've kind of tried to change the way I do things and less posiness. So tell me if you enjoyed that, tell me if you like this, tell me if there's anything else you'd like to see me do. Please don't ask me to buy anything too expensive. I do not have unlimited money. I am not a wealthy girl. Thank you everyone for watching this, being here. Like, dislike, do what you got to do. Don't get mean on the channel. Please subscribe if you want. I don't make you. It's entirely your call. If not, I'll see everyone again for another video. And I'm just sorry it had to be late. But as I say, memory cards screw up. Bye everyone.